Hello, this is Kurt Brown, also known as Saintrambone. This is basically a message to the young. I am also known as ULOB One Leg. I was named that because I might be the sole survivor from the USS REID FFG 30 who knew about nuclear blasts in 1983 in the Pacific Ocean. I remember a bubble coming up from the ocean. It was came up on the port side of the ship, USS REID FFG 30. The ship's now called the Jelly Bolu. It was sold to Turkey. I thought it was decommissioned, but it seems like they're putting in more equipment, new equipment from what I last read. The ship is likely radioactive, or at least it was in part of it. I know that I've got tumors on my leg. I had one huge one cut out. I have some more, I think, growing back in. It may end up being going malignant, meaning I'd probably die from it because I will not have my leg amputated. I'd rather just go ahead and die. I've got tumors elsewhere on my body. The government doesn't care. So the ship Jelly Bolu might have been a way to say that we had a lot of people killed on the USS REID FFG 30 or in the Pacific, and we weren't notified. People in California don't really care about each other. I went to work at the FDIC. They don't care about you. Charles Dornan was another guy. He went to work for LAPD. He shot his boss and they terminated him and they executed him up in the hills outside of Los Angeles. Charles Dorner or Dornan, I forget. They tried to mispronounce the name when he was after he was hunted down and executed. I have been tortured many times. Worst mistake I ever made was coming in contact with the government. In the military, I probably should never come in contact with any public schools. I've been better off just to have been homeschooled with regular education. What this new third world government is doing to us is putting in the old Ho Chi Minh slot where everybody wears the same clothes, everybody reads the same books, and they end up going to the same jails and basically work camps and also in the military as guinea pigs. The world is not a nice place. Murphy's Law says anything to go wrong will. First law of thermodynamics says all things fly apart. I've tried to do my best in California, but I feel it's kind of come to an end. Tried to do my best in Alabama, nothing ever happened there. Washington, D.C. That was a mistake going to work for the government. That's really what cost me. It was a long time ago I made that tour over into the government side, first in the military, and I got in that nuclear war, which they have not disclosed from 1983 at the end of the Falklands War. And then I was in the banking wars in 1999, or actually I was put there after they'd started. They really started in the 1990s, banking regulation in the federal government, a lot of money laundering, money pushing various ways to handle things. We're on our own, and there's a lot of people in the United States factions that kill each other when a war breaks out. You should never trust anybody in the government or even work for them. And many of these people, these factions will kill you in the United States. I'm encouraging, I don't know what to say. I think if I was young and had to do it over again, I would back off in the woods and just raise my family or whatever. Try to stay away from the radiation and the seafood. The seafood's extremely radioactive, most likely on all coasts. The government is not disclosing this to us. It's my belief we lost World War II or sometime long before World War II because the things that happened indicate that a lot of us were being actually put down in the lower caste through the use of biological weaponry or possibly nuclear contamination. In Mobile, Alabama, I saw a lot of deformities when I was young, a lot of borderline autism, and the funny thing is, some people laugh and say it's just inbredness. The kind of sicknesses we're seeing are not just inbredness or inbreeding. Often if you are exposed to radiation or if you feed it to particularly young women, I've noticed recessive diseases come out in their children. So if you're feeding young women fish and a ton of fish from the Gulf or the Pacific, there's a very strong probability that you will have some genetic birth defects or recessive diseases coming out. And then there's the fact of men who get hit in the nuts or the testicles when they're on the boats. It causes the children to have, I believe, lower IQs, some malfunctioning of the genetics as far as the overall genetics. There will be some other effects, such as you would have if you were to put radiation on plants. They will still be alive, but they will not be the same plant. In the human world, they will not be as intelligent, therefore they will not be as human as they would be had they been left alone. I would welcome my own death because of my own struggle and suffering. Some days I try to see the ring around the clouds, and like I said, sometimes it's better to back away from their societies. If you can, raise your kids separate from them. I recommend if you ever try to take you hostage, that you take your own life. I only say that because I was held hostage in 2001 after reporting Sheriff Jack Tillman of Mobile as a thief, and I was investigating murders at the FDIC and in the banking industry and in high finance, because I was a bank examiner and auditor for the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation in 1999 and 2000. And then I was pushed out of my job. I didn't really care because it was like it was borderline violence or extreme violence and just indifference. I'm recommending the young, don't worry about working for the government. It's not worth it. Take a look what happened to Charles Dorner and me, or Charles Dorner and myself. He was terminated at age 40, just as I was. I don't know. Anyway, the Jelly Bolu, the ULOB one leg. If you turn the word around, Jelly Bolu, G-E-L-I-B-O-L-U, it turns around to U-L-O-B-I-L-E-G, meaning ULOB one leg. And that'll be me. I'll be lobbing one life because I will not be getting my leg cut off. Someone stated to me after I got hit, it was all because of you. And he kind of smiled when he said it. What happened was I had given him some change. It was in my pocket when I was hit with that nuclear blast. I had left it in my pocket. I wasn't actually thinking right. I had a lot of pain the night before, and I don't know how many days I might have been unconscious, maybe one, I'm not sure. It was in 1983, end of the Falklands War. My life has been destroyed by the government. They have no remorse. It doesn't do any good to use any conventional weapons because they use high-tech weapons. They far outnumber you. And besides, you might be deceived. Therefore, you need greater methods of discernment. And even if you even thought about any weaponry on anyone or whatever, I don't know. Best of luck. I feel like the weapon was sprung on me before I was born, and then they did it again. They won't get a third shot. They'll have to kill me. That's a promise, amigo. Avita Zane, as they say. Who is that? Avita Zane. All these world influences. The fact of the matter is, in California and in Washington, D.C., it's a mix, and I think they're controlled externally. The best we can do is run for our lives. Like I said, don't eat any seafood. Try to stay away from the coastal areas if you're young. It makes a difference what you feed your children. If you want to have any intelligence, never trust the government. It might as well be a Mexican third world or some sort of Chinese-controlled or European-controlled outpost of nothing. Yeah. This is Kurt Brown, alias Saintrambone, Mobile Audit Club, saying, you lob one leg next. I'm thinking about having people come on to the Jelly Bolu and having a dinner party and bring up some tea made from the water in the tanks and maybe serve up a little Jelly Bolu stew. I might be there with a stump, but who cares, Everybody eat up. Kurt Brown, Saintrambone, Mobile Audit Club. See Saintrambone videos, Mobile Audit Club online.